Fear Not, Episode 67. Hi, I'm Billy Atwell, and I believe that consistently facing your fears is the only way to realize your truest self and to make those confident choices that will help you to obtain your deepest held hopes and dreams. I have faith that this podcast series will show you that you are not alone, that it will strengthen you and give you courage to face your fears, and that it will help you to permanently cross over into a life of living beyond your fears. Join me on this journey as we listen and learn from others as they share their experiences in facing and overcoming their own fears. Hello everybody. Today you and I are going to be joined by Kwame Alexander. Hello Kwame, how are you today?
I'm great, Billy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. Are you ready to fear not today?
Oh, I am definitely ready.
Kwame is a poet, educator, and the New York Times bestselling author of 24 books, including The Crossover, which received the 2015 John Newbery Medal for the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children, the Coretta Scott King Author Award Honor, the NCT Charlotte Huck Honor, the Lee Bennett Hopkins Poetry Award, and the Patterson Poetry Prize. Kwame writes for children of all ages, and some of his other works include The Playbook, 52 Rules to Help You Aim, Shoot, and Score in This Game of Life. Kwame, can you take a few moments to fill in the gaps and maybe also give us a brief glimpse of your personal life?
Well, I'm a father of two wonderful daughters, and I've been married for almost 18 years. And I've been writing since I was 12 years old. Books have been just a huge part of my life. I wish there was more that I could, sort of talk about, but it's really all about books. It's been that way because that's what my parents sort of immersed me in as a child, and I've been sort of stuck between the pages ever since. But I love tennis, and I think kids ask me all the time if I wasn't an author, what would I be? And I think I probably would have tried to be a tennis star.
That sounds really great, and thank you so much for sharing. Kwame, would you also share with us today one of the biggest fears you've had to face?
Wow, the biggest fear, I think it would probably, you know, come across as probably something small, but it was huge to me, and it was the fear of confronting people, whether it, you know, would be to share how I didn't particularly like the way someone had treated me as a child, or whether it was, I didn't appreciate the way someone treated me as an adult. Or I remember I ran a book festival, and there were quite a few people who worked for me as volunteers and consultants, and many of them were friends. And I remember having to have a talk with one of them because they weren't doing the job. And that just stressed me out so much so that I just didn't do it. And this person continued to work with me for a couple of years. And I wasn't able to to summon that courage to have that conversation. And it didn't work out well, because in the end I just grew resentful. And so that was the biggest fear, of being able to confront, you know um, individuals about things that I was not pleased or satisfied with, or just things that were, bringing me down personally or professionally.
So, how did you overcome that fear?
Well, number one, I have a wife who does not allow me to sort of, skate over the things that are a little bit challenging and difficult in life. Like, she is just an embracer of saying yes to life, and I think so. That's one thing. She hasn't allowed me to continue to do that, and so, either I was going to sort of live with her and be married and face that fear eventually, or I was going to have to, let her go, and I was not about to let her go. So I think one way was sort of surrounding myself with people who did not allow me to continue along that path of not of being afraid, or not just being afraid of confrontation, but not confronting, because I'm still afraid of it to this day. But I don't do it as much. I think the other way was was and this sounds crazy, and it sounds cliche because we see that Nike ad that says just do it. But there's some real power in just doing it. And I think that's the other way that I was able to confront it, where I just simply got on the phone or scheduled that meeting, and I just simply did it. I dove into the cold, water, with the shorts on and no shirt and no and just faced it. And what I found, Billy, is the water got warmer. Like the longer I was in it, and I found that those conversations became actually pretty easy to have once I just took that leap and had them. So I don't know if the fear necessarily has gone from confronting people about things that are difficult and challenging. I just now do it. I just embrace the fear. And eventually, during that interaction, the fear leaves. And that's a pretty cool thing. And I think that's just built my confidence.
Is that how you approach fear in general, or do you have other ways when different kinds of fear come to you?
Um, it's generally how I approach fear. I'm a say yes person, Billy. I say yes to life. And so what that means is I walk through doors even if I don't know what's on the other side. If I don't know what's going to happen, which is most of the time, and I figure I will figure it out once I get on the other side. It's worked so much in my life that, again, it's built enough of a level of confidence, of self-confidence, that I know that 9 times out of 10 it's going to work out on the other side. And so I just say yes. And now that doesn't mean that there are times where it doesn't work out, because certainly there are. But again, that's just a part of life. And I want to continue to be able to move forward in really positive ways and experience, life in all of its moments, because it's not going to be here forever. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time, not embracing it. And it took me a while to get to that point. But again, getting married at age 30 to Stephanie was a big boost, and provided some momentum that I just haven't turned back from.
That sounds like a great way to live, and congrats. Are you ready for the speed run?
I am.
What person, whether they be fictional or real, has made the most impact on your life?
Two people. I would say, outside of my parents, obviously, I would say Nikki Giovanni, who was a professor of mine at Virginia Tech, who taught me how to dance naked on the floor, how to take risk, how to take leaps, and say yes to life. And probably the main character in my novel, The Crossover, his name was Josh Bell. And writing that character, changed my life completely, because that book ended up winning so many awards, including the Newbery, which changed my professional life in profound ways.
And if you could instantly change one thing in the world, what would you change?
Wow. If I could instantly change one thing in the world, I would I'd make food, water, and books available to every child everywhere.
What's your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness is procrastination. I have books due, I have dishes to wash, I have snow to shovel, and I will wait until the very last minute. And so yeah, it's definitely procrastination.
What's your biggest strength?
I get the work done. Like, I know how to put in the work once I actually get to it. I know how to, summon that talent and skill and will, and I will get the work done.
Kwame, if you could only have one book to read, what book is that going to be?
It would probably be one of the books that my mother read to me as a child, or one of the books I've read with my daughters. It would probably be a children's picture book, and what children's picture book would it be? It might be "And the Sun God Said That's Hip," or it might be one of Mo Willems' books. Um, I'm not exactly sure, but it would definitely be a picture book.
And do you have a favorite sound?
I love the sound of laughter. I love the sound in particular of my daughters laughing. That just lets me know that everything is okay.
And Kwame, if someone would like to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I say, follow me on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram. I think social media, one of the really positive things about it is it allows us to be connected to each other in instantaneous ways. And some of it is superficial, I get it, but I try to maintain some authenticity, at least around the writing and the books and the professional life. So I think that those are great ways to do it. And of course, KwameAlexander.com.
And what parting advice would you like to leave with us today?
I would say embrace those fears. I don't know if the solution is to get rid of them, because at least for me, because I haven't been able to get rid of my fears, but I've just tried to embrace them. So I'd say embrace the fears, say yes to life, and keep it moving.
That's excellent advice, and thank you so much. And I want to also let everyone know, too, that Kwame has generously donated a copy of his book, The Playbook. So visit the giveaways page at livingbeyondyourfears.com and submit your entry form today. Kwame, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story and your method of dealing with fear.
Thank you so much, Billy, for giving me the chance to share that.
Thank you for joining me today. And remember, you cannot achieve everything, but you do have the God-given ability to achieve anything. So stay focused, out of fear, and keep on keeping on. Until next time, be well and peaceful. For more information on today's episode and guest, or for resources that will assist you in overcoming your fears, visit livingbeyondyourfears.com. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, where 3 times a week we move to a life beyond our fears.